Hello and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast for the week of April. What week is it? 16th, 2018. Episode
Dang,
38.
I don't. These guys are completely unaware. But you said that 3 seconds ago. That was the thing that you said immediately before you said that. It again.
I know. I did one thing before getting to the part where I say that, so I had already forgotten.
You lost it.
Okay. I see. All right. Yeah.
As always, I'm your host, Saine Grey. With me is Dalsson.
Hello, it's me,
And Thel.
Dalsson, your favorite.
This man legitimately talking over my name.
Better than Thel.
You fucking believe this shit?
Hashtag better than Thel.
That's me. Start a new hashtag. Better than Thel.
Fuck. I'd argue against this hashtag, but that would just sound conceited. So I'm just gonna sit in my bed and die.
Alright, so we're going to start off by talking about some games and movies we've checked out this week, and then head into some gaming and movie news. As usual, we'll have Thel start this week, like always.
Yay!
Because he's worse than Dalsson. Hashtag worse than Dalsson.
Shoot. I thought it was better than Thel.
You're having
Wait a
conflicting
second,
hashtags
Dalsson,
going
you are
on.
trying to just manipulate the system to put yourself on top. I've seen a documentary about Rasputin once. I know how this goes.
Yeah, that's normally how you get to the top.
By crushing others under your boots.
It isn't enough that I should succeed.
Others
Others
must
must
fail.
fail.
Thanks, Xbox.
Alright.
Alright. So I watched movies this week, and I didn't fucking I took a break off of making videos this week because I made videos the last 3 weeks. So I don't got a video out this week, unfortunately for you guys, but that was good for me because I got to do a bunch of shit that was on my back burner for ever. The first movie that I watched was 1922. It's a Netflix movie. It's one of the Stephen King Netflix movies that came out last year that were both really, really good. I haven't seen Gerald's Game yet, but 1922 was a movie about a guy who kills his wife. If you're familiar with the Stephen King novel, you basically know what happens. A guy kills his wife, and it haunts him for the rest of his life. It's a wonderful movie that sometimes has ghosts in it, and mostly just has this man. Horrible things happen to this man and his farm.
So is this movie just a really, really long telltale heart?
Not really. Because that is because the man is never caught. He's never found out for the murder, but the guilt associated with the murder basically just leads him and his son down this huge road of just failure and horrible shit happening.
The windmill.
Where they all make really bad
creaked.
Mistakes because
It creaked louder and louder. The windmill wouldn't stop creaking. All right, I did it. I murdered my wife. The windmill, it told me to.
But the only thing responded was the silence. The sound of corn swaying in the breeze. No one could take my confession, even if they had heard it.
Because the police weren't here, unlike popular Edgar Allan Poe short story, The Telltale Heart.
And then you made another wish, and the knocking stopped. Okay. It's about 5 different short stories. So how is 1922?
It was a very well-made adaptation of a pretty good book. It did it. It did a good job at, portraying this man's complete helplessness, and his son's helplessness, and just really, really, really going over how fucked up the whole situation was. It was a wonderfully down-to-earth, realistic thing that sometimes had ghosts in it. And there was lots and lots of rats.
So was this the one Netflix, direct-to-Netflix movie that's actually any good?
Again, apparently Gerald's Game is also really, really good.
What's that one about?
It's another Stephen King adaptation.
Oh.
The short version is
a woman is tied to a bed by her husband, and he has a heart attack.
Who then has a heart attack and dies.
Yeah.
So she's stuck there.
Yeah. There's other spoiler stuff, but
that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a very one of the few good Netflix originals. You probably haven't been told to watch the Netflix originals. They've just sort of quietly popped up on Netflix, I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in This House.
I feel like for a while there, like any Netflix originals were popping up and like being like, watch me, and you had heard buzz about them and stuff. But as time's gone on, I feel like there's been less and less buzz about any new stuff on Netflix at all.
Yeah, mostly because there's just so much popping up. Like, Netflix had to tell me that Netflix was rebooting Lost in Space. I was digging
I had
around with
heard about
Dalsson,
that.
and I looked it up, and I was like, the fuck are they doing this shit again?
Yeah.
They tried in the fucking 90s, in like 98 or some shit. Look how well that turned out. You know, that shit was a fucking, like, it was like Leave It to Beaver, but in space. The fuck you gonna do with that, my man?
Leave It to Beaver in space.
Are they remaking the 98 movie, but trying to make it good? Are they trying to make it good? I haven't heard fucking anything. I'm, like, curious to see if this movie is good, or it's a series, actually.
I heard about this, but I've never had any love for the Lost in Space series whatsoever, so I haven't even watched the trailer or cared.
Fair enough. I have like an uncle who was really, really into the Lost in Space movie, even though it's hot fucking garbage. Like the hottest garbage.
Yeah.
Is that
so
why
I've
he
seen
likes
the movie a few times, and I'm interested to see what they did with it, if only just to laugh. Or be horribly like confused again.
Is that why he
I'm
liked
excited.
it? Because it was so bad?
No.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. I also want to watch the 98 version. I've seen it a few times, so what's one more? Compare and contrast, because fuck me, I guess.
Is it a series? It's a series, right?
It is a series, yeah.
Okay, well,
So
I
yeah.
guess we'll find out.
Oh, whatever. We'll see if it's good. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. I watched another movie this week.
Oh boy.
The other movie was Lynn Ramsey's You Were Never Really Here. The best way to describe this movie is imagine if Logan was an art film.
It wasn't?
No.
I mean,
Yeah, that's right. They talk too much in it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the big difference between this movie and Logan.
oh wait, you were
It
never
was
here.
a very, very good movie about a hitman who has to rescue a little girl from a child pornography ring. It's got some great camera work, great action scenes. Specifically, to get more in depth with the plot. Oh wait, no, hold on. No, I said the thing about the hitman and the little girl. That's about it. He's hired by a senator to rescue his little girl, and things go bad when the senator is found dead.
So how was it?
Very, very, very good. Lynn Ramsey is an incredible director. You might know Lynn Ramsey from her most recent film, which came out a couple years ago. We Need to Talk About Kevin. And John C. Reilly in a movie about a kid who shoots up a school.
I remember you telling me about that one.
Yeah.
Feel like I've heard of that movie, but I have never seen it. Also,
Yeah,
this one came out in 2017, so isn't this one the most recent one, technically?
Well, yeah. This is the most recent one she's done. I meant like the most recent one before. And technically,
Oh wait, no, they came out this year. Okay.
Yeah, it came. Okay, it's really confusing because it's one of those films that the year it came out is the year that it premiered at film festivals, and not the year that it was released.
Right.
It was released this year, but it like premiered last year.
Yeah, I did a quick Google search, and it was like IMDb 2017, Wikipedia 2018. So I'm like, eh.
What?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. But yeah, there was some very interesting camera work, specifically with one like the action scenes are all set up in like the same way. There are two big action scenes. The first one,
and then the same way, not all set up in the same way.
Yeah, both set up in the same way. Yeah. The first big one is like shot from the view of like security cameras, so it's constantly cutting in between security cameras, which are a little bit of like off sync, so the music in the background will like jump ahead a little bit or like jump back to something you just heard. It would just cut between these, sometimes to empty hallways, sometimes to the guy beating the shit out of a guard, sometimes to a dead guard lying on the ground. And then it did a similar thing when we're at like the final action scene where the camera would cut to like just multiple shots with the same song in the background because it was the same like sort of gang of people doing this.
Mhm.
And in the last action scene, it didn't actually show anyone getting killed. It would only cut to like the aftermath of like what happened, which was really, really neat. I feel like the problem with this movie is that it is like an hour and a half. I feel like it was cut down to that because it is a very, very slow and methodical film. But like it's slow and methodical, but it feels like there was more in there somewhere. It feels like because it's like an hour and a half, so you only get like a couple scenes and
Right.
a couple things happen. Whereas like in Logan, Logan felt very full. It was like 2 hours and there was a bunch of stuff happening. This was an hour and a half, and it's like all of the scenes move at a very deliberate pace, and it's like okay, so But what is there is really, really good.
In a lot of ways, I prefer when movies are longer.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather them be longer than be too short, personally.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and I agree with this movie, with that about this movie too. But yeah, a lot of stuff about the guy's traumatic past and how that sort of goes toward the thing, and it's a little bit it leaves a lot of questions as to what's real and what's not. A couple questions. It's not like it doesn't have like a weird metaphysical ending. It has a pretty standard ending. It's just like the man hallucinates a lot.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah. Very, very good movie. Best art film action movie since Drive. Good work,
Cool.
Lynn Ramsey. I hope you keep making movies because I kind of love them. You just keep making movies. They're just my shit all over. And then I saw a third movie. It was a documentary called Jodorowsky's Dune, a movie that came out in 2013, I think. It came out a while ago. So there's a director. His name is Alejandro Jodorowsky. He was really, really famous in the 70s for being like a super weird director. He made a lot of very like Dali paintings, but for film. There is a word that I would have on any other day, but I just don't have it right now. It's the most obvious fucking word. Surrealism. He makes surrealist film.
What movie are we talking about?
Jodorowsky's Dune.
Dune.
Yeah. No, not Dune, Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah, but I don't know how to spell his name, so I'm not gonna try.
Oh, okay, alright, fair enough. So Jodorowsky's Dune again is a movie about Jodorowsky attempting to make Dune. And what he was going to do with this, he was just coming off The Holy Mountain, which was a big movie, a big crazy nutcase movie. I don't know if either of you have seen it, but it is one of those like there are two things you might think of when you think of like an art film. It's like either slow moving and methodical and very, very much about characters without actually saying anything, or off the walls, balls to the wall, fucking nuts. And Holy Mountain is one of those. It was his second movie. That's the only movie I've actually seen of him. I haven't seen El Topo.
What about Isle of Dogs?
Isle of Dogs? I don't know. I don't know which one that is.
I don't think it's either. From those two descriptions, it's probably not either of those, but it is very clearly an art film.
Yeah, I mean, that man does very, very, very very specific thing and is very good at it.
It's probably closer to off the wall bullshit.
Yeah.
But not by only a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
I feel like oh jeez, what is that man's name?
Wes Anderson?
Yes, Wes Anderson. Thank you. My brain is all sorts of places. I feel like Wes Anderson has like this really, really good. He like marries those two and makes them kiss and gives you a baby that's like a little bit of both.
You really need to see Isle of Dogs though, Thel.
Yeah,
like,
I really do.
Really good.
I'm excited for it.
I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray.
He is on a hot streak. I'm excited for that shit. Yeah. But back to Jodorowsky's Dune. What he was going to do was he was going to make an absolutely crazy, off-the-wall film like this, big science fiction film. It was going to be the biggest craziest special effects film. At this point, Star Wars hadn't come out yet, and this was going to be what Star Wars was going to be. And what he did was he got together a bunch of people, including H.R. Geiger. He got together, what was it, Orson Welles, the guy who did like all of the sci-fi art for all of the book covers for every like 70s science fiction novel.
Oh yeah, that guy. Can't remember his name.
Mick Jagger
and the
he got
Conan books, right?
Yeah, and the Conan books. He got Mick Jagger. He got Salvador Dali.
Whoa.
Yeah. And all of these people were introduced to film because of Jodorowsky's Doom, this massive project that was like going through. It had like its $10 million that it needed to get, and then they brought it to Hollywood, and Hollywood's like, this is too weird. So yeah, we see that you have all of this set up. You have all of this entirely planned out. You have a very good plan for this. This is all doable. You want us to pay for not even all of your thing. You want us to pay for $5 million, which we can do, but it's too fucking weird. We can't sell this to anyone.
Frank Frazetta.
Yeah. Wait, no. I don't
Was it
know
not that one?
guy. No, it was a different one.
Oh,
was
it Robert E. Howard? Those are like the two. Those are like the two it could even be. Oh, actually, no. Robert E. Howard was the writer. It has to be Frank Frazetta.
I don't think it was. Hold on a second. Oh, jeez.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah. Point is, Jodorowsky was the man who brought all of these people together. Like H.R. Geiger had never done anything with movies, and then after this, he went on to design the Alien for Alien. Like, you know, he brought Orson Welles
sure
out
most
of
people know who H.R. Geiger is. Yes.
Oh yeah. Hey,
I wouldn't say that.
Really?
Anybody who knows anything about like the Alien films and like that kind of style of work would, but I think most people who aren't into like horror stuff probably might not.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be interested in horror.
Yeah. But yeah. He was it was going to be a crazy good movie. It was going to be completely different than the book. A lot of people complained about Lynch's Dune being a little bit different, but Jodorowsky's Dune was going to be a complete like almost a completely different like story. The ending was going to be changed, the beginning was going to be changed. A lot of people like have criticisms with his idea of what the film was going to be and what, you know, Dune was going to be, but in its own right, the movie probably would have been a incredible movie. The problem is, it's that Hollywood thing. They couldn't sell it to nobody. It was too fucking weird. They didn't get it.
I don't know. At the same time, though, it feels like with that many names attached to it, you should have been able to get away with it. I don't know.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? Like it had so many names attached to it that it feels like it should have made it, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, and it's not like these were people that he was like pitching to the Hollywood studios. It's like, all right, we're going to get blank. He already had all of these people, and like there's like this running theme of like, I don't know how I'm gonna get this guy, but then I happened to be at this place, and there he was by chance. We talked about him. I said, I need you for my picture, and he said yes. And it was he got all of these people, and the thing is, they were all like incredibly like they were all really gung-ho because Jodorowsky, he's like a weird art film director, but he is a very charismatic man, and he is very good at getting people to sort of like indulge in his vision in their own way, like to do their own art to, you know, make his movie like it would be. Like he would get like all of these artists like Giger and a bunch of, he like got like 3 different like popular bands, one of which was what was it? He got like Pink Floyd to make specifically the music for the Atreides, right? He got another band, a very popular band in Europe, to make a music for the Harkonnens. this combination of people who were all just brought in and loved this man for what he was doing, even though they watched his movies, they didn't always understand it. They thought it was really weird. There was a lot of really heavy spiritualist stuff in it, like really heavy spiritualism.
Mhm.
So, well, other than the spiritualism part, so in a way he was kind of like the Kojima at the time.
Basically.
Kojima of movies at the time.
Yeah. The Kojima of like the Kojima, except making really weird shit. Really weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
Even definitely even more so than Kojima. But unfortunately, the film was never made, and that's the
end of the story.
And that's the end of the story. He brought all these people to film, and
so instead they made a film about making the film.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert, the movie was never made.
Yeah,
films so popular recently.
What?
Why like movies about making movie?
Those have always been popular.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have even another example? Oh yeah, Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
You have
that one was a biopic. This was just a straight documentary.
That one movie that was about making a movie that was a cover up for. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but that was. I think that was based on a true story. It was an action movie. It was an action movie though. But yeah, I don't know, because Hollywood likes to stroke its own.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay,
that's fair. That's it. Unfortunately, Hollywood was the reason that this movie didn't happen. So this was the very opposite of that.
Yeah, but at the point in time that this was, it's kind of a different landscape now. You could probably make this movie now if you tried.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. You could make this movie now because you wouldn't have to go through Hollywood.
No, I think you could do it through Hollywood now at this point.
Oh, no, you could not have done this movie through Hollywood. Not only was it just so different, but this movie definitely would have turned people off of it, because Jodorowsky had a very, very, very
it's Dune though, right? Aren't they making Dune?
No. Let me explain. Denis Villeneuve is making Dune. Denis Villeneuve has worked at Hollywood studios. Jodorowsky had never worked at a Hollywood studio. And Denis Villeneuve's Dune is going to be completely different than what Jodorowsky's Dune is going to be. Because it was going to... Denis Villeneuve loved the book and wanted the book to... and is making it as close to the book as possible. Jodorowsky had, read the book once and had, a completely different vision for what it was going to be.
Well...
Yeah. It was going to be okay. To put it this way, the first scene was going to be Leo Atreides, who was a man who was castrated, has his wife prick his finger, take the blood out, turn the blood into the semen, and then put the semen in her womb, and then we would have fly with the semen into her womb, to the point where it would conceive Paul.
I could imagine the board meeting go, so I have notes here. Anyway, let's move on. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or should I?
What's with the 2-hour sandworm mating scene here in the middle? I am not really sure. I don't think that happened in the book.
Let's jump to A Way Out, and then we'll jump back.
Why are all of the sandworms Jesus?
Let's jump to A Way Out, and then we'll jump back into some other stuff that you've done this week, too.
A Way Out.
Okay.
Just to give you a bit of a rest. Oh, not A Way Out. A Quiet Place.
I was gonna say, we didn't play A Way Out.
I don't know why I was thinking of A Way Out, but yeah, A Quiet Place. So, I saw A Quiet Place this weekend, and it was a very good horror movie. I don't really know what much to say. It was very, well, the conceit of this movie is that there are monsters that track people based on sound. So in order to survive in this post-apocalyptic world, you have to not make any sound whatsoever.
Right.
So the whole movie, for the most part, is shown through sign language. There is some speaking in it, but in very like specific points in the movie and for specific reasons.
Right.
Oh.
What?
Oh, sorry. I just figured out who that artist was that worked with him. Did you say Christopher Foss?
Oh no, I said Renzetti, but
okay, it was Christopher Foss.
Okay.
Mm.
So yeah, back to A Quiet Place. Yeah, so I think the biggest strength of this movie and what a lot of people are like really focusing on is just the amount like the quality of the acting without any dialogue. Because you can kind of tell what all of the characters are feeling the whole time, and like you can I don't know, it's very well done in that sense. It's also paced really well.
Right.
It rather than like having a lot of starts and stops, which a lot of horror movies get caught up in quite often, it kind of it builds momentum as it goes, and it kind of ends abruptly at the end.
Right.
Rather than like being kind of like an up and down in terms of like building suspense and then jump scare, building suspense and jump scare. This doesn't have any like traditional jump scares. There are moments where like something pops out, but it's not placed in such a way that it's meant to frighten you. It's just something is happening now. Which I greatly preferred.
Same.
Good.
This might be the kind of movie that I would warrant you not to see in theaters, though. Like, I'm the kind of person who sees basically all movies in theaters, and I tend not to watch a ton, like, at home, unless it's, like, a Netflix or something and I can't. But typically, I prefer the movie theater experience, but in this case, it is such a quiet movie, like, obviously, that it's a lot easier to be distracted by noises of the audience, like, way more so than other movies. There's, like, you'll still get absorbed into it. It's not like they're, especially towards the end of the movie, stuff keeps happening so frequently that it, like, you don't get that opportunity, but especially in the beginning of the movie, it's very quiet, and, like, it is a little bit distracting for even like normal stuff that wouldn't even bother you in other movies, like slight whispering and people eating popcorn and stuff. Like that stuff you can like hear way more than most movies. So I didn't think it was a bad experience in the theater, but maybe if that stuff bothers you, maybe don't see this one in theaters.
What's going on? I don't know.
No, like plot-wise, that the movie's actually pretty straightforward. It's not super complicated. It's just really well paced. That's probably like the best thing about this horror movie is that it's really well paced. It has like it has a science fiction. It has a science fiction bent to it, but it is not a science fiction film. They never even really like tell you the origin of the monsters. You think maybe they're aliens, but it doesn't really say.
Right.
To my knowledge, it might have been like in a newspaper clipping or something that I didn't happen not to read. But yeah, so I actually really enjoyed it. I was kind of iffy going into the movie because I tend to prefer dialogue, like in my movies. And this movie, it's not like this movie didn't have dialogue. It was just mainly through sign language.
Right.
I don't know sign language, so I don't know if it's like super accurate or anything, or if it's like
apparently yes. Apparently they all had to learn Americans. They all not only learned American Sign Language for this movie, they used it on set so that they could practice and
right.
American Sign Language is actually pretty easy to learn too.
Yeah,
so like because that's the point.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to know that they learned sign language for it, just because like it would make sense for you to use accurate sign language. But yeah, I don't know. And they also like did a good job of explaining why they all knew sign language. It wasn't just like, oh, we suddenly have to learn sign language now. There was actually a reason for them already having known sign language. So
that's good.
Which I thought was cool. So yeah, it was a very good film. I really like that horror is making a comeback lately. People are trying new things instead of like I am so sick of the 20 possession movies that have come out in the last like 5 years. Actually, 20 is probably like a conservative estimate. Like there have been a ton of possession movies in the last 5 years. It's been crazy.
So they are aliens. Apparently, a newspaper clipping in the background of a shot mentions something crashing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It like there was like it wasn't straight up obvious. And the funny thing, which I didn't even realize until like the credits were rolling, the first time you learn any of the characters' names is in the credits.
Wow.
Oh.
They literally never say any of the characters' names like to each other or anything.
Sometimes when movies don't do that, they'll like give them like a fake name.
Yeah, I don't
like-
know. Like, it might say like the stranger or something.
Yeah, or something like in Fight Club, it's like you call Edward Norton character like John.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think they named. I think people talked to him with a name, though. I don't remember.
They did not talk to him with a name because they never said Edward Norton's name, and he only said I am John's blank. You know, he did that whole thing.
Oh, huh. Well, anyway, yeah, like it kind of hit me. They all did have real names. It was like I don't even remember their names because in my mind they were like the mother, the father, the daughter, the son, and the baby. Like that's that's how I like remember their character. I remember their last name was Abbott. I don't know why that stood out to me, but yeah, I don't know. Like it was kind of an interesting thought because it sort of didn't matter in a way what their names were.
Right.
It's just interesting.
If
I don't know.
You're only communicating with sign language, you wouldn't take the time to spell out somebody's name every time you want to talk to them. You obviously are talking to them if you.
Or you might just use the sign for like dad.
Right.
Because that's easy. Or presumably, I don't actually know, but yeah, it was a good film. I recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I wanted to read an entire movie, I would just go read a book.
Well, even that, there wasn't a ton of dialogue anyway. But
okay,
even what's delivered through sign language, it's not like you're sitting there reading paragraphs of them talking to each other.
Okay.
This book is boring. Where are all the pictures?
more like this book is boring. Where's all the words? All I see is pictures.
Yeah.
So who wants? Did you want to talk about another movie, Thel?
Oh no, I talked about all the movies.
Okay, why don't we go into a Radical Heights then?
Okay.
Okey-dokey.
Yeah, that'll be a conversation for you two. I wish I had played that with you, but God, I've been sick all week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what that game was. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I was like, Radical Heights. I swear that sounds. Is that like a monster? Is that like some sort of? Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, so Radical Heights is Boss Key Productions' new game. You might recall that their previous game was Lawbreakers, or you might not because not many people played Lawbreakers.
Nobody fucking bought that game.
Which is really sad to me because I really enjoyed Lawbreakers.
Yeah, it was really.
It would have been free to play. I'm saying if it was.
And
free
people
to play,
are already there's already a buzz around Radical Heights. Like people are saying it's a decent rival to Fortnite, and it's because it's free.
So here's the funny thing about Radical Heights is it feels like it's way more fun than it should be.
Yeah. Currently, if only because of the fact that it is in the earliest possible alpha.
It is, man. You want to complain about some early alpha games? Holy shit!
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about it. I feel like I'm going to be really, really like easy on this game. A lot of people have been kind of shitting on this game. I'm going to be really lenient because like it is a lot earlier than Star Citizen. But the thing is, these guys have probably been developing it for like a month, and it feels it.
5 months. They said
5 months.
Legitimately, their development time has been 5 months. Not all the buildings have textures on them. Some of the physics are really janky. Like, so one of the like kind of key things that they show in the trailer is that they have like BMX bikes that you can ride around on.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the physics on them is so broken in the most fun possible way.
Good.
Yeah.
You drive a bicycle on grass and you start doing donuts because you have no like traction somehow. It is impossible to even drive on grass half the time.
However, of course, driving upstairs is completely fluid without any hiccups.
No problem, just right up there.
Going upstairs.
Yeah. So comparing it to Fortnite and PUBG a little bit, so it in look and style, it looks a lot more like Fortnite, obviously, from a cursory glance.
So hold on. Let's describe what this game is. Let me describe what it is, because this is the impression that I thought I have from it. So it seems like it's like a pretty normal battle royale style game, except the shooting battle royale segment is kind of broken up because of the concept that it's a game show. So you'll get little events like the wheel of
I'll go into it a little bit. So there are like very key differences with other battle royale games that I'll go into, but just quickly comparing it to Fortnite and PUBG, it looks very much like Fortnite, but its gunplay is much more similar to PUBG. You have prone and crouching and stuff, and the shooting, it feels very good. That is my key complaint with Fortnite, is I really don't like the shooting in Fortnite. Whereas in Radical Heights, it does feel like your bullets go where you're shooting. Which I would kind of expect from Boss Key, because they are pretty good with shooting games. We actually played a lot of Lawbreakers when it was on its like free weekend, and we actually all enjoyed it. Quite a bit.
Apparently, on that note of shooting in Fortnite feels like shit. Apparently that's been a complaint that's coming more and more and more to the developers' forefront of like.
No, I know, and I've heard them talking continuously in Fortnite about changing the way that the bullet physics happen, and then like we tried it after they did a bullet physics update, and it still felt like shit. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, I heard that today people were complaining about what they call dick bullets, and it's just because bullets don't come from the right spot on your character. They just shoot out of your crotch, basically.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Radical Heights. So some of the key differences.
I was completely unaware of that. If that's true, then fuck me. I would hate playing that game.
Yeah, it's not fun. So some of the key differences from other battle royale games is, rather than have a circle that constrict inward, what you have is
zones.
Like a grid, and randomly in the grid there will be places of areas that just melt you. So it's like being outside of the circle in specific grids. So
it's like a Mario Party type thing. You have to stay out of the blocks.
Kind of.
Okay.
But I've heard that they can do like specific things with it, like because of how it's set up, they could force people like. Unlike PUBG and Fortnite, you don't get to choose where you drop on the map. They just throw you somewhere.
Okay.
And you kind of fall from the sky with no parachute or anything, and you just hurtle towards the ground and then like roll and you're fine. So
good.
It's kind of interesting, but apparently they can do certain things like have 50 people on one side of the map and 50 people on the other side of the map, and like they're locked away from each other. And then slowly over time open up the area so that the blocks connect. So they can do all sorts of like weird things with that grid.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
On paper it seems cool. In practice, I felt like you don't really get the same sense of where you should be going.
Right.
Whereas in PUBG and Fortnite, you definitely know where you kind of want to end up, based on like where the circle is. Like you'll always have like a direction you should be going. Whereas this game, it's more like, I should definitely not be standing in this area. And that's about it.
Right. But can't you see like those little events that pop up and stuff? And
I was getting to that.
Okay.
So, you're like really excited, but I'm like going through several things. Another thing that they have is there are like little spots on the map that have like closed doors. And you can stand in front of those doors, and it has like little fireworks and stuff in it. Like you have to stand in there for long enough for it to open up and give you a bunch of like guns and money and weapons or and equipment and stuff. But that leaves you vulnerable to like people shooting you while you're sitting there and like opening it.
Because there are fireworks going off and everything. Everybody knows you're there.
It's not like big fireworks, but it's like noisy enough that you could hear it. But it's not like you know where it is no matter where people are on the map. But it's like
I see.
Noisy enough that if people are near, they can like go mess with you.
Okay.
So like you can get stuff that way. There are like weird events. There's like spin the wheel or something. But in my experience, and like stuff like present drops, they'll just drop presents from the sky sometimes, and you can go there and pick it up. But from my experience, they're almost more deadly than supply drops in PUBG. Like,
really?
Yeah, you like kind of don't want to go over to them at all, or if you are gonna go over to them, you're going over to them with the purpose of waiting for someone to walk by so you can shoot them. Like it feels like they're very dangerous to be around.
Right.
The spin to win thing, I don't like. The one time that it popped up when we played, I didn't actually get over to it in time.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know how that works yet, but it seems rather infrequent when they drop that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If anything, they could probably increase the number of like weird events just to differentiate it a little bit more.
I think they absolutely should.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the concept is really good. I love the Smash TV thing that they're going for.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It sounds a lot like what PlayerUnknown was like based off of, like all those battle royale type things that add like hazards and stuff to the map. The map is fighting against you instead of just an empty, indifferent map.
In a lot of ways, this is the most battle royale of any of them because it is more similar to battle royale and more similar to Hunger Games and that sort of thing, where they have outside forces kind of messing with the people in the game.
Exactly.
And if they had like more dangerous events, like they fucking release crocodiles that can just hunt you down.
Yeah, just random like weird stuff. Or like this round has the Terminator and it just drop a Terminator to kill people because it's like it has this 80s vibe, so there's a lot of gold to mine there.
I was also hearing that they were working on Twitch features because since the concept is like, you know, Hunger Games or Smash TV, they were working on Twitch features that would just let people like say there's 20 or 30 Twitch players in a game, like it would just let people like vote for all kinds of crazy hazards to happen to the whole map.
Yeah, I haven't heard
cool as fuck.
I haven't heard about stuff like that, but I could see that happening.
Yeah.
The only thing is like I don't know how well that would work in terms of making it like I don't know, like fair, I guess.
Yeah.
To players who are not streamers, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, maybe it's not so much like that. Like they can vote to not like help the streamer out. Maybe like vote for horrible things to happen to the whole.
No, but like anything you do though would still affect like 100 players, and if there's no way to turn, like, how do you turn that off? So I don't know. Like, it seems like
it could be like separate servers or something, but like my thought maybe would be like you're all in the server, right? And it's like viewers are now voting on this, and it says that to everybody in the server.
Maybe.
And
there are definitely ways that they can do it, and that actually does sound like an interesting concept. I don't like in practice. I'm just gonna have to see how they decide to implement it. But I haven't heard anything about that myself, so I don't know.
Or even just add it for people who decide to spectate after they die, like they can vote too, that kind of thing.
And I'm excited to see where this game goes because there's a lot of potential for this game to be really cool. Currently, you might want to play this game if currently the most fun thing about this game is the fact that it is in the earliest possible alpha and just like 90%.
I kind of still want to try it. You guys?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You want to try it? We'll play it with.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like the game, while obviously rough around the edges, still has a lot going for it. Another difference it has from other battle royale games is it has this cash system, where
that was the other thing I was gonna ask.
Yeah, when you make it long enough in a round, you keep a portion of the cash you make when you die. Mm-hmm. So if you're like in the final 20 or something, they might give you like 1,500 or whatever you had. And over time, you can bank this cash and you like use that cash to purchase cosmetic stuff like outside of the game, or you can spend it in the game by pulling it out of an ATM and using it on like vending machines that have guns in them. I think the vending machine is called Top Guns, and it plays a very not danger zone.
Yeah.
when you're next to it.
Kenny Rogers, the Granger Zone.
The Granger Zone.
And they have stuff like there's like wood chippers that you could throw guns into, and it pops money out to you. And you can, anytime you have money in the game, you can bank it at ATMs into offshore bank accounts. So so you can do things like, rather than trying to win a match, you could instead just be trying to collect as many guns as possible to wood chip them to put them in your bank account. Like, right. So they're
but you have to then go to a wood chipper, then go to an ATM without dying while having no guns.
Right. Yeah. Well, or having just one gun or something.
Right.
Yeah, so there are definitely interesting plays on that, but what it also means is you can start a round and then buy like a really badass gun right off the bat. So,
right.
But it is kind of risk reward because you could buy a really nice gun and then get shot from behind and lose it all anyway. So
yeah. And then somebody else has your really nice gun. That's what's so great about Battle Royale games like this.
And then doing that also means that like any money you pulled out for the start of a round means you're losing that for the purpose of cosmetics. So it's it's like adding a really interesting kind of risk reward mechanic that doesn't feel too unbalanced.
Right. And the reward would be having more money because you win the round potentially with that good gun you buy. Yeah.
Another so the game, like Fortnite, has like item levels or rarities on it. So there are like epics and purples and blues and all that stuff.
Epics and purples. Yes, the two
epics are orange and purples are, I don't know, legendary. I don't know what they like. The terminology changes so much, but purple is usually the second best one almost always. And then blue or green switches sometimes.
It just goes from like cool color to hot color basically in rarities usually.
Thanks, World of Warcraft.
Yep.
Oh, purple is kind of a cool color. Depending on the purple.
It's getting closer to red than blue is to red, so.
Yeah, but what if it goes blue, green, purple though? So I don't know, either way. Yeah, I like the game has a lot.
White is always the worst.
White is always the worst. The game has a lot of potential. Even at this in its current state, it's a lot of fun to play. And call me biased, but I just really want Cliff Bleszinski to do something and make money from it. I feel so bad. I feel so bad for how Lawbreakers came out. Like, there's some people who are really like reveling in the fraudenscheid of him like failing and then kind of lashing out on Twitter at people, which granted is not very like cool. You shouldn't do that, Cliff Bleszinski. But at the same time, like, he's such a icon that I just want him to succeed. He's such a cool guy. I don't know.
I get you.
It's like John Carmack. You just want him to succeed at whatever he does.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like John Carmack is working for Oculus, which is a part of Facebook, but I still want him to be doing well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Radical Heights. I was not expecting to have as much fun with it as I did. I was actually laughing my ass off at the broken-ass bike physics at one point.
Good.
They also have a lot of, like, interesting kind of, like, grenades and stuff, kind of in a similar way to Fortnite, where, one grenade I found creates, like a inflatable double of you. So it's, like, kind of a decoy. There's stuff that shoots confetti bombs, it's, like, in the area. Like, the whole thing has, like, a kind of, the purple neon and green, like, 80s aesthetic, kind of like Blood Dragon-esque, but probably doesn't lean into it as hard.
Yeah.
They have they have, like, the neon pink, like, sweatbands and that sort of thing. Like, all of that sort of stuff is inside.
I like it. I like the aesthetic.
The funny thing is, like, they don't have a lot of the, like, it's obviously very early, and it looks it. Like, even when you go into the character customization menu at the beginning, it's like, male or female, and female has like a red X over it. It's like not available yet. It's like so it's one of those things where like if you want to wait, I wouldn't blame you, but it is free to play, so if you want, you can try it out now. I think a lot of people are worried that people will fall off because it is super early and they don't want people to be turned off by it, but I think that it's I mean,
with
the
gameplay
is fun enough.
Just easily just come back and check, like, oh, hey, this patched. What did they do?
I feel like the gameplay is fun enough, like with all the building textures aside and some of the physics being wonky. Like, I think that it is fun enough that it works. It
Are
works
there
out.
vehicles other than the bicycles, or is it just
no,
bikes?
not so far.
It's just bicycles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say give it some time.
It ran better.
Give it some time.
It ran better than PUBG when PUBG launched, though, for sure.
Good.
Yeah, which I honestly, I've been really I feel like I'm being too nice to games because I played because you get if you compare it to PUBG, it just PUBG was just like kind of really a mess when we first started playing it. It felt like really, really early, even though it was so close to coming out, and sort of almost still does. And then, you look at Star Citizen, which I have constantly complained about, a 7-year dev time for as much as comes out. This game has been developed for 5 months. So I'm like, you know what? All right, that's fine. Yeah, this feels like it was developed 5 months. Star Citizen feels like it was being developed for a year, and it's been 7 fucking years. So, I'm willing to forgive. But if you haven't been, so burnt out on this shit, you might not be as forgiving as me. So I would say just wait.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really up to you what you want to do.
Yeah,
it's free to play, and that is a big benefit. The netcode works pretty well. It doesn't rubber band and stuff like PUBG has a tendency to. It doesn't run as well as Fortnite, but Fortnite is like made by the creators of their engine, so of course it runs well. I don't know.
It's gonna run good, exactly.
Problem is, a lot of people are hacking in it because it's so early, because there's nothing they can really do about it at this point. They don't even have building textures yet.
I haven't, so I've heard a little bit of there being hacking, but at the same time, hacking is so prevalent in PUBG that, I feel like at the last time I was playing PUBG, I was running into so many hackers that even if I ran into one occasionally on this game, I don't know that it would upset me that much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Also, these for some reason these games of Radical Heights seem to go faster than PUBG.
Easily.
So they go. It feels like it goes faster, but at the same time, there are more aimless wandering around in this game.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I don't know. It is what it is. But it doesn't feel like it's faster because they force you to be faster. It feels like it's faster because people are killing each other faster. So I don't know. It doesn't feel as tactical as PUBG, so. Anyway, why don't we move on?
Sure.
Dalsson, what have you done this week?
I have one thing that I've done kind of new this week. I've mostly just played a little bit more of Ni no Kuni. But
is there anything else you want to say about Ni no Kuni? How much more time have you put into it? Hello?
You muted. Oh no. What happened? Okay.
Dalsson, I can't hear you. Did you unplug your microphone? That's weird. Thel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, something's happening with Dalsson's audio. Maybe leave Discord and come back. I don't even know if he can hear us. So, why don't you talk about something though? Oh, I can't hear you either now. Okay, so this is not good. We're having technical issues. So we're going to go to gonna go to a break. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry
Oh,
about that,
okay.
folks. We had some technical issues with Discord, apparently.
It wasn't on our end. It was Discord, definitely.
I'm sorry. I just, I missed a huge opportunity. I realized this though while I was gone. I spent a lot of time talking about Jodorowsky's Dune, literally right under the camera down here. I'm just hanging out with this, just right here. I could have just like been talking about, just been like, so Jodorowsky's just like been like a shameless plug for a book that came out 60 years ago.
All right, so why don't you tell us about Factorio, Thel?
Okay, so I played Factorio for like a couple hours last night. It's, I don't know what all else to talk about. There's really not all that much. I don't feel like I've experienced much of the game because I haven't gotten very far in it. I've gotten to the point where I understand the basics of how the game is supposed to be played. And it was like I was telling Dalsson last night, it was like someone played Minecraft with mods and thought, what if this, but bigger, betterer, and more.
Just like the guy who made Hollow Knight when he played another Metroid 2 remake.
But with less walking between shit
Yeah.
than Minecraft.
Well, if you don't build a train, basically. Sort of. There's definitely walking between shit in the early game.
Isn't it?
Like, I haven't even gotten to the point where I have like one train yet.
I
So.
thought that
Well, yeah,
it
but
was
it's
like
top down, right?
Yes, but you're in control of the character.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
didn't know
wasn't
that.
aware
I
of
thought
that.
It was I thought it was like RTS style.
No, it's sort of RTS style. What you do is you start out with a man, you mine some stuff, use that to build a forge. You build a forge, you build a mining drill. You connect the mining drill up to the forge to some like things. They put the stuff in the thing, and the forge creates things. Puts it on a different conveyor belt and puts it in a box. You walk up to the box, you take the stuff out of the box, and you build stuff with it. You do
Okay.
play as a little tiny engineer man.
Oh, I see.
Okay. I've seen this game compared to RimWorld quite a bit. Are they comparable?
Plot-wise, you crash on an alien planet and you have to build things to survive. And you also research stuff like in Civ. That's a little comparable, though. This is RimWorld is like it's basically Factorio is to SimCity what RimWorld is to The Sims. I would say.
Okay.
They're very different games.
Right.
But yeah, I suppose it's sort of comparable to RimWorld. You try to survive. You get to shoot aliens, which is fun. Sometimes Zerg attacks you, so
Well,
you
maybe
get
it's
to
just-
give yourself a gun.
Maybe it's just the basic like strategy kind of layer of it is kind of
Yeah.
similar. They're both
Yeah.
kind of like sandboxy, like building games. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that RimWorld is a lot more dangerous than this game is, because like the Zerg can attack you, but if you're prepared for it, like sometimes if you have like gun turrets, well, congratulations, you won, and you get gun turrets really early on, and you can usually fend off like any Zerg attack with just your regular ass gun. Yeah.
Okay.
There's not really much I have to talk about it because I haven't played all that much. But so far, it's fun setting up factories, making sure everything is like completely automated. All of my production centers are good.
My cat started making weird noises, so I was like afraid he was gonna vomit on my desk.
That's
Anyway.
not good. Yeah. That is this game.
Yeah. Nifty.
Nifty.
That's cool.
I was
Do you
never
think
very interested in Factorio because everything that I ever saw about Factorio is, here's my factory, which is 100% automated. I can walk away from the game for 24 hours and it does everything for me. Wow! And
Yeah,
I
but-
didn't even know that there was anything more to
Okay.
it than that.
First thing, I think that there's a lot more to get to that point. Second thing,
God.
you play Cookie Clicker and shit like that all the time, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the fun part of Cookie Clicker is clicking.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Shut up.
I would say the fun part of Cookie Clicker is the same. Well, actually, a completely different part of this. A fun part of Cookie Clicker is like getting up your money score and like getting a bunch of stuff. The fun part of this is like the same sort of one of the same things that is fun about RimWorld is discovering new things and getting farther in like the tech tree so that you can do new cool shit with your factory. So yeah,
Right.
yeah. There's like to be able to get like a factory that. You can't have like everything pretty automated.
Do you think I would like it though? I've always been kind of like on the fence with this game.
I don't know. I actually do not know. That really depends. It's like if you go into it and you don't spend like a couple hours in it just dicking around, then you're probably, if you go into it, you get a bunch of stuff automated and you like research stuff a little bit, and then you get bored and don't feel like you're really going anywhere. Like, congratulations, I have a factory. Yeah, I can go places, but it's just a factory. Then you probably aren't gonna like it. But I don't know. It's one of those games where it's like, yeah, you gotta play it to see if you like it. It is a very good, very well made game. I know
what games you would like before you play them, Thel. You don't know what games I would like before I play them.
Well, I don't know if you'd like this game. Is the thing.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're a like fan of like even city sims and stuff, if your favorite thing in RTSs is building up the skill tree and just that first time you play
RTSs.
RTS, you see what yeah. Well, that first time that you play an RTS and play with one of the races and see what they can do and try building all of their stuff rather than okay, it's time to.
Tech trees have always been a means to an end for me.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Tech trees are definitely a means to an end in RTSs, but in this game, it's the game, and it's wonderful, because tech trees are my favorite thing about RTSs, and RTSs don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you like tech trees, and you like that Command and Conquer ass StarCraft one, like, we turned these old ass CGI things into sprites art style, and let me tell you, this game is that. I love that.
It looks
that
like
shit.
Now Skype is frozen.
Oh no!
Oh, there we go.
back.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It left us all looking in like the worst with the worst possible faces on the screen for a while there. All three of us.
I saw that. That was pretty funny.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyway, yeah, I don't got much else to say.
Okay.
Do you have anything else to say about Ni no Kuni, or did you want to talk about?
No, I don't really have much to say about Ni no Kuni. I found these doors, which seem like they're randomly generated dungeons, which is kind of neat, but there's no reason to do them again once you do them the first time. So,
well, you have to do all of them for that one quest.
Yeah, there's no reason to do one of them over again, I guess. So like it's
yeah, but I don't think
like,
I don't think they ever implied that you should do it more than once.
Sure, but it seems weird to have these randomly generated dungeons with this weird mechanic that you just do it once anyway. Like, why have it be randomly generated if you're only supposed to do it once?
I don't think it's super randomly generated anyway, because every time it would, like, for the first one in particular, the first three were the exact same map for me.
I can tell that they're randomly generated because I can see like when I enter a new chunk, I can tell it's a different chunk. They're like randomly generated in that they have rooms that interconnect to each other, and I can tell that because there are parts where it's obviously like a hallway that just ends in a dead end, and they're all over the place.
But that's in the overworld too, though.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
No, because I played two of them, and I don't super feel like they're randomly generated.
Maybe not.
Especially since the first time I did, like, the first one I played was the same map 3 times in a row. So maybe it just is random maps, but I don't know that necessarily it's made of chunks. But either way, it's like the reason why people use random generation is not because it makes good stuff. It's because it makes fast stuff. Right. So if you are intending just to have a quick little mini dungeon for this specific thing, then you might want to just randomly generate it because it's faster than hand building it. So
that makes sense, I guess.
You want to talk about
And if it is randomly generated, there's not a ton of variation anyway. So
yeah. Yeah. The only other thing I really put any decent amount of time into was Hearthstone's Witchwood expansion, which came out on the 12th.
Okay.
I
don't
am
know.
surprised that you're even putting more time into Hearthstone, because everything I've heard from everyone who's even remotely interested in Hearthstone is the game is kind of stale now. But
yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was gonna say.
okay,
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
sorry to blow it for you.
it's like I can't even, especially with this expansion, like I can't even tell that they did anything. Like, I don't ever buy the like 50 card pack deal before each expansion or anything like that. So like I don't really have many new cards to play with. And it's like everything in this expansion just synergizes with other things from this expansion. So as per usual, it is completely fucking impossible to build a fun deck with with like any of the new cards you may have gotten from the couple of free packs they give you without just buying more packs. And that seems to be happening just every expansion. Last expansion was great, Kobolds and Catacombs, because it introduced that dungeon run mode, and that was the most fun I've had with Hearthstone in a long ass time. Witchwood just seems like it's more of the same again. So I don't know.
Well, the difference with the Kobold and Catacombs one is that it was a PvE thing.
Yeah.
It was a new thing because it was a new PvE thing, where the other ones were just, here's more PvP stuff. Here's more
the big difference for me
battling.
Is that with the Kobolds and Catacombs, you didn't have to build a deck out of cards that you have that are gonna be worse than the cards that other people have because they bought card packs and you didn't. And in Kobolds and Catacombs,
I was talking to a friend who played a lot of Hearthstone, and he was saying his issue with it had a lot to do with they would reset everyone to the same pool.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were in like master's rank or really high rank, they would reset you to be like level 0 again or whatever. Or whatever equivalent that is. So you would, like, it wasn't fun for anybody because you would either be the kind of person who was really good at Hearthstone and just stomp people you could tell were, like, barely starting playing, or you would be barely starting playing, getting stomped by people who were, like, masters in Diamond League. Yeah. So it was just kind of...
Apparently Witchwood does have a new version of the PvE dungeon run coming out in a couple of weeks. It just wasn't ready for launch, so...
Anyway, so one of the things they supposedly did with this last expansion that's slightly better is they only reset you by 1,000 of where you were at. So now you won't completely start over if you're in like high-end rank. So it means less grinding for the people who were in the high ranks and less getting stomped for the people who were in the lower ranks.
Right.
So I don't know, like it just seems like Hearthstone seems like Blizzard made a mistake with Hearthstone in that it milked its player base for like so hard for so long that now people are starting to leave and they're having trouble like getting people to come back.
Right.
That's kind of what it seems like the story of Hearthstone is now. And it's so expensive sort of to even play a lot of times now. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I would just like to be able to like use some of the new interesting cards without having to build a deck out of nothing but new cards. Like hypothetically, if I were to pull, it takes 30 cards to build a deck. Hypothetically, if I wanted to build a properly synergistic deck, I would need 5 card packs that had perfect pulls for all one class. Other than that, it's just, you can't do it. You have to just use the old shit and hope that it keeps up with the new shit, which, in their defense, it usually does. But
if you have been playing enough Hearthstone, though, you would have enough to disenchant.
Yeah, I guess.
To get more cards, but that would mean playing a fuck ton of Hearthstone, so
Yeah, I mean, it's shitty though because you disenchant for like 5 dust per card, and it costs 400 to make a cheap card. Like,
yeah, but
people always
the
praise
thing
it for
is,
their
if you play
disenchant
enough,
system,
if you
but
grind enough, that's the thing. The whole thing is like, if you grind enough Hearthstone, you can do it,
right.
or you can buy it, and it just seems like what you get for the cost doesn't feel like this is a problem with all Blizzard games. The like money to what you get out of it ratio is tends to be pretty crappy compared to other competitors. So you get like the more polish of Blizzard games, but if you want to buy a character in Heroes of the Storm, it costs more than it would in other games.
Yeah.
And similarly with Hearthstone, except Hearthstone's a weird case because there's just like no real good competitors to card battlers because everything is it's sort of like a winner take all mentality when it comes to certain genres like that.
And one of the reasons that I think, like you said, a lot of people praise the disenchant thing. I think a lot of people praise it like in comparison to like other card games, which are explicitly play to win or pay to win.
Other card games have trading in them. Why don't they just fucking do that for Hearthstone?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Because they
Because
want
they
you to
want
buy
you to
it.
spend money, exactly.
Yeah. And it just feels like every step of the way, it feels like the choices Blizzard makes, in regard to Hearthstone anyway, is the choice that milks their players the most. And that over time, maybe it doesn't piss people off initially, but over time it pushes more and more people away. And now they're in the problem where they just don't. They have more people leaving than coming in. It feels like. I don't know if that's actually true, but that's the sentiment I get.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I will put more time into Witchwood. I just have to actually just bite the bullet and build a boring old classic deck.
Yeah.
Because I had a bunch of cards for shit that they've retired now, and you can't use in ranked play, or you can use in ranked play, but you can't use in the standard. They do the same thing. They rotate out old cards just so they don't have to constantly balance a pool of ever increasing cards. They just use the last 3 expansions worth of cards. Yeah. That's really all my thoughts on Witchwood, though.
Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of a downer note.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about one thing just so we can pad out the time. I played a lot of X3 this weekend, so I wanted to play a good space sim where I could have fun.
Yeah, you said that last week.
Space sim.
Well, I'm sure that we could pad out the last half hour with news.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. X3 is fun. I want to play a space sim that's fun and good and is good space sim. Play X3. Go.
So we'll start with gaming news this week.
Sounds good. There's not much.
Well, there's more gaming news than movie news.
Is there? Okay.
Really?
A little bit. They're like less big topics, but the first one is kind of a bigger topic, though. So recently, Steam changed their privacy settings, and gave more options for how you handle privacy on Steam. You could say that this is a reaction to a lot of the privacy things that have been going on with things like Facebook and other websites like that, and in regard to European privacy laws as well that have recently gone into effect. But one of the things that they did seems like it doesn't really help privacy and is kind of a pot shot at Steam Spy. Right. So one of the things that they did is, by default, it makes all of the games anyone owns on Steam, default to private.
Right.
What this means is Steam Spy is now unable to scrape player ownership numbers for its like system. Right. Now the way that Steam Spy worked has always been like it takes a sample size and then extrapolates that into a estimate. So it's always been estimate based, but there has been what I think is kind of happening here is there's been some talk of especially larger developers complaining about how Steam Spy kind of publishes numbers, because if it wasn't for Steam Spy, we wouldn't have any data on what people owns. And now that they've made this change, Steam Spy's website basically doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Which means now we're back to the position where we don't have any data again. They're saying that some developers and publishers were running into situations where people would bring up these numbers in negotiations, and that was negatively affecting them. As it would, being that they have some basis for having information about what they are talking about. But really, that seems like very much a developer side problem. They don't want their person they're negotiating to have enough information to properly negotiate with them, is what that actually is. So what this also, there's been some talk about certain indie developers not liking information that Steam Spy gives, but there's been a lot of indie developers that have said Steam Spy is kind of an essential tool in learning how to, or what genres to target, whether certain things seem viable. Like one thing that people talk about doing is, if you take Steam Spy numbers for a genre that has a couple of other notable examples, you can kind of, based on what other people have done in that genre, get an idea of what you could potentially do in that genre if you made a good game. Now that information is kind of gone, you don't some indie developers might choose not to make genres that seem like, or make games in genres that seem like unsafe bets. And now you're betting with less information than ever before. So some people are worried about the cooling effect this will have on especially niche genres, and some people are worried about just developers not taking as many risks in general. And on Steam's end, it feels like this is them protecting publishers and developers more than it feels, or I don't want to lump developers in there too, more so publishers. It seems like it's protecting publishers over kind of the community as a whole, in order to target Steam Spy, because they give you plenty of other... if this were just a privacy issue, they would lock down other more sensitive private informations on your profiles.
Yeah, like who really cares if somebody can see what game you own?
Yeah. And giving the option to hide that if you want would be nice, or even hide specific games might be nice. But having all games hidden by default seems like kind of a bit too far, maybe. So I don't know. It seems like this has a lot of...
Don't want my friends knowing I've been playing Mew Mew Kissy Cutie 3, The Quest for Panties.
And actually, this directly affected us. One of the things I do... One of the things I do for this show is I have bookmarks for all three of our recently played on Steam pages, so that I can get an idea of what all of us have been playing. If someone forgot about something, I could be like, hey, you played this week. Do you want to talk about that? And I don't like to have Steam launched all the time when I'm playing, or when I'm doing the podcast, so a lot of times I'll have it closed and just use the browser. Now that you have to be logged in by default, I had to have all three of us change our privacy settings so that we could look at it. It's just, I don't know. It seems like a protection that doesn't help anybody and hurts the industry. So I don't know.
While this protection, I'm all for protecting people's valuable information. I feel like this specific valuable, here's the thing: if I am playing Mew Mew Kissy Cutie Panty Quest search, these motherfuckers are gonna know about it, and everyone else is going to know about it. And Steam probably won't let me play the one that lets me actually find the panties. So even if I am,
well, there's patches for that. Don't worry.
Of course. And there's lots and lots of panty mods. But yeah, still, it's there. I don't see this isn't they're not sharing my personal information. This is them sharing what video games I have been playing, which, believe it or not, this might be something I want people to know. Maybe I play the same kind of video
That's
games as
kind
some
of
other
the
motherfuckers.
point of the social aspect of the platform.
Yeah.
So that people know what you're playing.
What this also does is, well, by default, friends have access to it.
Okay.
So by default, it's friends only see it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that...
And that is probably for the purpose of not fucking up their store recommendations. Friends have been playing this.
Yeah. You can lock it down to be private, and if it is private, it'll not even show you in-game.
Oh.
So like, if you wanted to lock it down even for your friends, you could make it so that it just doesn't show anyone what you're currently playing even. So
You know, the more time I've spent like using services with algorithms, you know, when Pandora did it, it was fucking great. And Pandora's still rocking that shit. You know, Pandora has a good algorithm. It like hardly ever recommends me shit that I don't have any fucking interest in at all. Usually it's usually on the ball with some of this
I feel
shit.
like even with Pandora, you have to game it though, because if you you have to like intentionally never thumbs up anything, or it'll give you the same 5 songs for eternity.
Yeah, or specifically only thumbs up these specific types of things. If you actually want recommendations and skip the ones that you know. But you do have to game Pandora a little bit. But like with YouTube and Netflix and a lot of stuff on Steam, a lot of times it's like, hey, so you've been playing this really, really good game. Here's this shitty, trash, garbage knockoff of another game that's like this. Would you be interested in this? No, it has fucking mostly negative. Oh, okay. That's fine then. And it's like, do you want to turn off mostly negative? No, because I actually do like playing really shitty horror games.
Yeah, and I think that like it's kind of a problem.
YouTube's the worst about it though, but I won't go into that.
Yeah, Steam, like I think Steam mostly works pretty well, but you know,
see, you watched Steamed Hams.
It could.
How about?
But like the problem with Steam in particular is it will recommend a bunch of games based on the most generic tab or a tag for a video game.
Yeah.
So it's like, since you've been playing first-person shooters, here's all of these other first-person shooters that are like not even remotely related. And
hey,
it's like,
man, we saw you played Path of Exile, which is an action RPG. You might like Divinity Dragon Commander.
And I
which is an RPG.
I wish they would bundle more tags than like one, because a lot of times it feels like they just use one tag to decide what's similar, and that isn't similar. Exactly. So I don't know.
We see you've been playing nudity games.
We saw you play titty game. Would you like to play titty?
Anyway,
right now all Steam, like I'm looking at Steam right now, all it's recommending me is like simulation games because of how much time I put into RimWorld and X3 in the last couple of.
And like simulation, like what is that? It's simulation of what?
Oh, I think simulation is actually
sci-fi.
I think simulation is actually one of the more useful tags, but that's because it is such a niche genre in general.
Yeah.
Right.
That there already is a smaller pool.
But just because you're playing RimWorld doesn't mean you're going to want to play American Tractor Farming Simulator 2018 by our DLC.
Those usually aren't lumped together.
Yeah, I'm not getting that. Well, just because I played RimWorld and X3 does not mean I want to play Spore.
No, but I feel like a lot of people, I think, especially for simulation, a lot of those games are similar. Spore is just a bad one. But it is similar in principle. So, so I think it works for simulation more than it works for first-person shooter, which could be anything from first person. So, I don't know. Let's move on.
Okay.
So, this is kind of a minor update to a story we've talked about a couple times here. But Billy Mitchell's scores have been wiped from the Twin Galaxies databases, and Guinness Book of World Records uses Twin Galaxies as their official source for Guinness records on video games. So this means Billy Mitchell's totally, like, gone now.
Yep.
Good.
For those of you who don't know, this is, the reason why is because it was proven... I'm gonna say proven that he was using MAME to which is an emulator of Donkey Kong to play Donkey Kong, rather than using an official like actual Donkey Kong board.
Right.
So it's not necessarily that he did cheat, but because he used a MAME board, it means he would have had the potential to cheat, and it is against the rules to use a MAME. Not only specific versions of MAME are allowed for Twin Galaxies, and he wasn't using one of those specific versions of MAME. He was just using a generic MAME, I guess.
Right.
So he broke the rules, and therefore his scores are kind of like in this limbo where they don't really know. So all of them are wiped now because he wasn't doing official rules. I almost kind of wonder. What? Go ahead.
Other guy. I was thinking of that other guy who was confirmed to have gotten a score that was legitimately impossible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy.
Programming.
Mr. Activision.
Yeah, him.
Yeah. It seems like this is happening a lot the last few months. In a way, I'm almost getting these two like situations confused just because they feel so similar.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's.
I'm almost because there's been like interviews and conversations with Billy Mitchell, and it seems like he's not super tech savvy. So I don't think he would be able to like cheat using like a version of MAME anyway. So it makes me almost wonder if he has an official Donkey Kong cabinet, but whoever sold it to him gave him a Donkey Kong cabinet with a MAME board in it, and he just doesn't know because he's a moron. Like, that doesn't really help him in the sense that he, his scores are still MAME scores, so they're not official scores anyway. But at least that might make him not exactly at fault.
You're right.
I don't know. Right. But he could be at fault, and he could be a scumbag. Who knows?
Yeah,
he kind of seems like a scumbag, so I guess we'll go with that.
Yeah. I mean, he dedicates 115% of his time to playing Donkey Kong in an arcade cabinet.
That's not true at all. He spends about 50% of his time playing Donkey Kong, 50% of his time running a hot sauce business.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing he's sort of known for, selling hot sauce.
Now watch as Billy Madison takes the hot sauce world by storm with the world's fastest hot sauce making time.
Billy Madison.
Every time you say Billy Mitchell, I think you're about to say Billy Madison, and it makes me laugh.
He makes his hot sauce really quick. Someone pours it on something. It's shit!
Yeah.
It has a 2-star rating on Amazon, but that might just be because people were 1-starring it because
he cheated at Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck you, I don't like your hot sauce because he cheated at Donkey Kong. God damn. Fuck him up. I bet these are going to be reviews that are like, I don't like this man because he cheated at Donkey Kong, but it did try his hot sauce and it is shit.
The first line in about this product is featured in the hit movie The King of Kong.
It sure is.
That's just silly. Okay. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some back-to-back Grand Theft Auto news.
Yay! The first one's great.
Oh, I was gonna do the bad one first.
Oh, okay. The bad one's not great.
Bad one. So, Grand Theft Auto 4, a bunch of the licensed music is expiring, and apparently they weren't able to renew it or anything. So, if you have a current version of Grand Theft Auto 4 on Steam, maybe set it to not update, because if you do, it will remove, or it won't remove, it'll replace a bunch of tracks. Most of the tracks are for the Russian radio station. Like the Russian pop station. Right. And there is like one Prince track.
Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson. I mix those two up sometimes. Don't hate me, internet.
Understandable.
Don't hate me, internet. So yeah, maybe don't have it patch if you want to preserve that, I guess.
Right.
It's a minor, like, it's less of a deal to the San Andreas one. I think there was more like bigger tracks that they pulled out of that one, but I don't know. It's kind of weird that they wouldn't just like license it in perpetuity for that game. I don't know. It just seems weird that they can update the game to remove tracks. That just seems odd to me.
Yeah.
And for the good part of news, Grand Theft Auto 5 is now the best-selling property ever.
Wow.
Nice.
The game has sold more than every movie ever made and every other game ever made.
Put together.
No. 90 million sales.
Grand Theft Auto, you finally beat Star Wars.
90 million sales, 6 billion revenue. Not only has it passed Star Wars, it passed Avatar, it passed even like inflation adjusted older films like Gone with the Wind and stuff.
Which was huge.
Maybe if we're lucky, they'll look at this and say, maybe we should release Red Dead on the PC.
No, they are. They are. They're just
Yeah.
Not doing it first, the same way with Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
They didn't. They just released it later because
yeah,
it kind of takes more work to do PC stuff all the time. But
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So and then there's like the Grand Theft Auto Online aspect, which is always like a big line in 2K's earning report every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's crazy though. Grand Theft Auto 5 is more profitable than any other movie or game or entertainment property ever.
You know what? Fuck them. Good. Grand Theft Auto was a fucking great goddamn game. Grand Theft Auto 5 is not only has got good graphics, incredible gameplay that pushes the fucking bar for what Grand Theft Auto is forward. It's got a great goddamn story attached to it. Just wonderful fucking character.
I hope those leaks are right
game.
and they're gonna give us another like Vice City Grand Theft Auto, because that would be cool.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 5 is in San Andreas again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the San Andreas area.
Grand Theft Auto 4 was Liberty City again. And Grand Theft Auto 5 was San Andreas again.
Right.
So if this presumably Grand Theft Auto 6 will be Vice City again.
Well, Grand Theft Auto 5 was Los Santos. It was like
no,
Jesus.
yes, but San Andreas is the name
Los
of the fictional state.
Oh, okay.
It's the same area. It's the same area.
Yeah. It's
I know, because I know for sure that you can go to Grove Street and
Yeah, Los Santos is a specific area in San Andreas and in Grand Theft Auto 5. So
all right.
it's like Los Angeles, but both of those games were more than the LA area. They were also like San Francisco and parts of at least San Andreas was parts of Vegas.
And rural California,
and the Roosevelt
tip cows,
the Roosevelt Dam, which is technically a little bit of Arizona was in there too.
But the best way to describe the fucking Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto's plot is that a bunch of normal people who are gangsters all attempt to, except Trevor, all attempt to be gangsters in the South Park universe.
right.
Okay, so the next thing, and this is the last piece of, well, actually, this isn't exactly gaming news, but it's gaming related, because some of the things it mentioned were specifically like game consoles and stuff. The FTC has put out, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission has put out letters this week to major companies containing warnings that warranty void if removed stickers are illegal and they are not allowed to put them on stuff anymore.
Yay!
Okay, so I have two questions.
Okay.
Why did they put those stickers on there?
Because...
What did the stickers like cover or whatever?
Oh.
Like
have you never opened something? Okay, so like a game console, there's a sticker on it because they don't want you opening it to try to fix it and stuff.
Right.
So they put one of those stickers on it that says void of warranty void if removed. So when you peel it, it like breaks a seal so that you can tell when it's been removed.
Okay.
They don't want you removing it because they don't want anyone fixing it themselves.
Right.
Or paying a third-party company to fix it for them.
Yeah.
They want
Okay.
you to send it to the company to fix.
Right. So the sticker is there basically to say, if you try to fix this yourself, the warranty is void, which is in the contract anyway, right? Usually.
Yes, but that's illegal.
Why?
Because it's always been illegal, and they just got away with it for a long time.
What's illegal about it? Is the part where saying the warranty is void if you try to fix it yourself illegal, or is just having that sticker?
Yes.
Yes, you are not allowed to say that because, as far as the Federal Trade Commission says, that is directly restricting consumers from being able to go to other services. So it's kind of illegal for two reasons. It's illegal because it's a violation of consumer rights protections, and it's also illegal because it is creating like a monopoly of being able to fix it. So it hurts other companies who can fix stuff too.
Okay, but now I get that, but if you try to fix your game console yourself, and you fuck it up beyond all repair when it was easily as like a simple fix thing if you just contacted the company, then why wouldn't that void your warranty? Because you were the one who fucked it up.
You see, that is the logic that they use to fuck people in the butt.
No, the thing is, like, they are not allowed to. I mean, it like you could say that, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That just doesn't matter because they're not allowed to restrict that.
If it is fucked up, right? If your thing breaks and it is fucked up beyond all repair, you bring it to another repair shop and they attempt to repair it, but they're like, "Nah, this is fucked up beyond all repair." You couldn't get it back. You couldn't like redo your thing even if you thought that it was repairable. You know, because you brought it to a repair shop.
Right.
Well, the repair shop would they would give you back your broken thing if you wanted it back.
Oh, yeah, they would give you back your broken thing, but you wouldn't be able
if they tried to fix it, they might just go, "We can't fix it," or they would like, be like, "Yeah, we can fix it, but we have to replace this major part." You know?
Yeah, you might as well just,
But it depends on what it is, because if they determine that what caused the damage to it was you fucking around with it, then they could say that the warranty doesn't cover that.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you pop it open and go, "Okay, I see what's wrong with it," and then you close it up and send it to have the warranty fix it, they can't just say, "Oh, you opened it, you didn't touch anything, but you opened it, so you voided the warranty."
I see. So
messing with it might not be covered by the warranty, but opening it and like looking at it and possibly trying to fix it yourself isn't necessarily illegal.
It's not,
or not necessarily a reason to avoid it.
Yeah.
And this is a law that's
however,
been there.
if you were to fuck it up in such a way that the warranty doesn't cover the fuck up,
right,
then they could still say no, that your warranty doesn't cover this.
Or if you made it worse, it might not necessarily matter. Like if, for instance, when Xbox was doing the Red Ring of Death thing, if you removed the CPU and then recoded it with new
software.
No, that paste stuff. If you tried to repaste the CPU paste down, thermal paste. If you tried to repaste the CPU down again, but you didn't damage it in any way other than like changing the paste, they would still be liable for like replacing it because you weren't doing something that voided the warranty. Like you didn't break it further. The thing that they would be fixing isn't something that you broke. It's something that was already broken. Right.
Okay.
But you'd still have to fight about it. And really, the whole this warranty void sticker, this was really just taking advantage of people who didn't know the law and gave them more reason to fight you on it.
Right. So you could have always fought this and said, no, this does not void my warranty. It's illegal for it to do that.
Yeah, you could have always sued them.
I see.
But now, because there's like a FTC like statement on it specifically, and telling a bunch of companies that they're not allowed to put these stickers on it, and they have to like start removing these stickers from products, like now they can't. Not only can they not put those stickers on it anymore, but anybody who tries to call them and say, no, you have to cover this, here's an FTC document saying you do. So
Yeah.
there's now like recourse, where before it was just like your recourse was suing them, which
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah. Especially when you have like $500 to put towards a lawyer, and they have $18 billion to put towards 2,500 lawyers.
Right. But they might just settle with you. You never know.
Yeah.
And this has actually been U.S. law since 1975, so this isn't new.
Right.
Yeah.
In a way, it's sort of retrofitting older laws onto newer things, but like consumer products have always had this thing in place.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But this applies to like game consoles. This applies to like phones, like computers, like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really cool and interesting. It's really a win for like do-it-yourself people more so than anything
Yeah.
else. A lot of
Yeah.
people probably won't be affected because it's like they weren't going to try to fix it themselves anyway.
Mm-hmm. See, I was I was in that boat of I didn't know that like your warranty legally couldn't be voided by opening up your shit or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know
Like-
either, honestly.
Like
Yeah.
my phone's GPS has not been working properly for like ever, and I can't get to the shop to have it, the Sprint store or whatever, to have it fixed. But I know how to fix it. I just didn't, because I didn't want to fuck up my phone and then not be able to get a replacement.
Yeah.
And still,
Well,
you might not want to do this stuff just because it might make it more of a hassle if you did want to get it replaced. Like, if you have the recourse
Right.
to just replace it through a warranty, it might be better just to do it that way. Instead of
Right.
having to possibly argue with them about why it's broken. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, and if companies really want to keep people from repairing their stuff, they could just do what Apple does and just make it impossible.
Yeah,
well, you can, actually, this is the biggest blow to Apple because people
of course it is.
can fix Apple stuff.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass, and they make it harder for people.
yeah,
but they
but
can do
they
it.
can do it.
And even like dumb stuff like changing batteries and replacing screens, like that is like the bread and butter for a lot of these repair stores. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that's cool.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, you should. I feel like you should be able to do that. I feel like.
So let's go into movie news.
Okay.
Oh.
What do you got
Okay.
for us, Thel?
All right. Well, let's start out with some pretty damn good news. So, speaking of Dune, right? Speaking of Dune, Denis Villeneuve, who is making the new Dune movie coming out next year, isn't making a Dune movie. He is making a Dune movies. There's going to be a couple of them.
Trilogy?
He's apparently going to make up to 2. Now the thing is,
Up to 2.
no,
It
excuse
says
me.
at least 2.
At least 2. Sorry, I said up to 2, and I was wrong. It's really funny. Denis Villeneuve, if you've been following his career, which I don't expect you have, has been basically releasing a movie a year for like 4 or 5 years. And he's not going to come out with a movie this year. There's not going to be a Denis film in 2018. But next year he's going to have Dune out. Took a break this year,
The last one,
but he's making two movies.
last
making
one was
so
Blade
much
Runner,
Dune.
right?
This man loves Dune. So last year, yeah, like Saine just said, Blade Runner did come out. It was a good Denis movie, and he had made there was a 4-hour assembly cut that he cut down, and unfortunately, that we'll never ever see. Makes me sad. But
Shit.
he had made like two Blade Runners worth of Blade Runner. Which is exciting, and this time instead of cutting it down, he's just like, I'm just gonna fucking make it into 2 movies. Screw it, fuck it. This man apparently loves Dune and wants to make it as close to the book as he possibly can.
Good.
I am excited for Denny's Dune, and more Denny Dune is good thing for me. I'm happy about that. Hell
When
yeah.
you said Denny's Dune, I'm just imagining a fucking just out in the middle of the absolute fucking nowhere desert. You gotta walk without some rhythm to get there. It's just a Denny's diner. It's like 2 in the
It's
morning, and they're like,
completely run by just you walk in like this strange woman who looks entirely normal except for her blue eyes. Hi, welcome to Denny's. Where do you want me to get seated?
don't
I'm hyped.
don't
about this
stomp
next
too
news.
loud on the floor, though.
Yeah, don't stomp too loud on the floor. We'll get you started. Could I get you started off with some drinks? Just water's fine. No, it's not.
No, we don't have
I'll
any of
get you a
that.
Coke. So yeah, it's new Dune movie directed by Denis Villeneuve, coming out next year. Going to be multiple of them. Thel is excited, very excited.
I'm excited
This
about this next news.
one. Yeah, this next one is something that me and Saine are probably going to be excited for because I know this is like Saine's favorite science fiction series. Apple. This is the weird part about it. Apple picks up a Foundation series.
That's actually kind of ironic.
Yeah. Why?
What?
Why is it ironic?
Because Apple is evil to.
Oh,
What? Hello?
you cut out there
Hello?
for a second.
Say that again.
Oh no,
Go on.
I'm dead again.
Oh,
Well,
Well,
you're good. No.
you're
No,
good
okay.
now.
Because Apple is evil technology. Apple is the dangers of technology at large.
That's not what
That's not
Foundation
what-
was about at
Yeah,
all.
that's not even remotely what
The Foundation is about like a giant empire ruled by this emperor that's like gonna fall, and they're like, all right, guys, we need to fuck off and set up another thing. I'm a super psychologist, and I know exactly what'll happen. I will release things once every like just 60 years or something.
Yeah, I don't remember
And
the interval.
I'll tell you how your society should run and how it's basically been running and what you should do next. Listen to me. I'm Hari Seldon. Bye.
I think it's 30 years because it happens twice a lifetime.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was like because like the dude's life, like the lifetimes are like longer in the future space.
Not at the
Yeah,
time
it's-
of the mayor's though.
Oh, okay.
So it
Yeah,
it has to be like 30 or 40 years or something.
Okay. But yeah, it isn't like a commentary on technology at all.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not about technology. It's about
Like, in any way, shape, or
if
form.
anything, it's about like societies.
Yeah,
If any, it's about like
very, very deeply
like
rooted in
civilization.
society.
It has more to do with civilizations more than anything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a really cool series.
Yeah.
Apparently they're doing it on the original Foundation trilogy.
Yeah.
There are more books than the first 3, but I think
That's
there's
the same
5.
thing with Dune, but fuck it.
I think
These
there's
are the originals.
I think there's 5, but the first 3 are the best ones. So
Yeah.
Oh man, I already am like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah. I'm like tentatively excited because I don't know if Apple has ever funded like something like this before.
The coolest thing about this is like it doesn't need to be super flashy either because most of it is
Yeah.
just like politics.
Yeah,
like,
most of it's like dudes sitting around and fucking things being like, hey, go fuck yourself.
You know, if it's comparable to
Fuck you.
anything, it's probably more comparable to something like Game of Thrones than anything else.
Yeah, and even like Game of Thrones, it's like, especially in like the early Foundation stuff, it's like just a bunch of dudes just trying to like create stuff on a planet. Like the very first like Foundation story after the very first one that sets up Foundation is like a bunch of scientists like, we're all scientists and we don't know how to run a government. We're living in fucking grass. What do? We need to continue being scientists because that's how Hari Seldon did it. And then Hari Seldon was like, stop it. Bye. See you in 30 years.
He's like, I knew that at this point in time you would be thinking that you should continue to be scientists, but you guys are dumb and wrong. So here's what you should
one person
actually
was
do.
like, how bastard, I fucking told you, assholes. God. And then for like 2 stories, it's like this one guy was like, I told you, asshole.
And then the first mayor's like, I was right all along. I continue to be right because I'm the best.
Yeah, it comes in like the second story is like these fucking dumbass kids don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I thought it was gonna be like Hari Seldon. No, the new generation. No, he's like, no, I'm not. I agree with this guy again. I fucking told you, guy.
There was a point in the book where he was like, man, I need to be careful. If I'm too right all the time, then I'm gonna mess with how everything's supposed to go. I need to be careful not to be right all the time.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's weird. That's just weird.
I love that guy. He was so cool.
Yeah.
he was the best character that I can't remember the name of.
in the Foundation series.
Yeah, of the whole series. Well, other than maybe the Mule. The Mule was also
Okay.
really cool, but he was a villain, so
Yeah.
Well, villain.
Villain.
It's
yeah.
all relative, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how political stories are.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it
that's
gets even weirder when it comes to that, but
Oh yeah.
because he
So,
was
yeah,
also like a
that's-
psychic.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
interesting. I still don't know what the fuck like Apple I guess is starting like a streaming service or
But
something.
they already do. I think this is for Apple TV,
Oh right, yeah.
which is that like
Apple
device
TV.
that they sell. So I think that. Plus, they've always had iTunes, so who knows?
And it's going to be directed by Jonathan Nolan, which is like the brainchild. It's like Christopher Nolan's brother who did Westworld, so you know that's a good sign.
It's true.
I'm pretty hyped for that, just because
Okay.
I love Foundation so much.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be pretty good. I don't see it going any bad. I put this one in. This one there's not really all that much to talk about, but Batgirl movie is back on. It has a new screenwriter who's not going to have anything to do with what Joss Whedon was going to do. Joss Whedon had like part of a screenplay written, and she threw that in the fucking trash.
Well, yeah, but I think even he acknowledged that the reason why he was leaving was because he couldn't come up with a good screenplay.
Yeah.
So I think that like that was kind of an obvious. Like
this man tried so hard.
he was like,
and
I
got
really wanted to
not
do
far
Bat.
at all.
He was like, I really wanted to do Batgirl, but so much shit is happening in my life that I don't know that I can do anything right now. I think that was
I
kind
just
of.
want to be popular again with the people who think that I'm progressive. That's all I want. I know they hate me because I fucked with
Cheated on my wife.
cheated on my wife with Buffy the Vampire Slayer and fucking made Black Widow into just like a basic bitch heroine when there was a movie like immediately before it where she was an interesting character.
Was that what was? Oh yeah, Joss Whedon was on that one. I don't know
Yeah.
that was his fault though.
Might have not.
I think that might have been a writing thing, not a
Yeah.
directing thing. But
Well, he wrote that movie though.
did he write?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wrote Ultron. Yeah.
He did.
Joss,
Okay.
my man. He's just fucking up all over the place.
He saw that one gif where Natasha and the Hulk like turn and look to each other,
Fucked,
and
and
he's
he
like,
was
"Yeah, I
like-
want to make that movie."
I want to make that into a movie. But I talked with Anita Sarkeesian once. Please don't hate me. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's got to the point where Anita Sarkeesian is toxic to everyone. People don't like to talk about her
that
anymore.
Was the point. Maybe Anita Sarkeesian is the reason that he like did some terrible. Maybe he cheated on his wife with Anita Sarkeesian. We
Oh
don't
God,
know.
I hope not. Let's move on.
I hope not for like everyone's sake.
Except for
Yeah,
Anita
let's move
Sarkeesian.
on. Let's move on to bad news. That's not fun and good at all. Arlie Ermy died. You'll know Arlie Ermy from his pivotal role in Full Metal Jacket, playing the drill sergeant. He's also been in everything that has required anyone who is even slightly like a drill sergeant. He's been on a bunch of History Channel stuff. He's been, you know who Arlie Ermy is.
Yeah.
You may not
And
recognize the
unfortunately-
name, but you know who he is.
Yeah,
He's the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket.
yeah.
Just think drill sergeant, and you'll know.
Yeah, just drill sergeant man.
All right,
And yeah, he died from complications of pneumonia.
Damn.
which is like
Yeah.
the most generic. He got sick and died kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, he was 74. He was pretty old.
Yeah, when you're old, like pneumonia takes everyone out.
Yeah.
Like the thing.
Yeah. Well, he didn't die of drugs. He didn't die of like some horrible thing. There's no scandal around him. He's just an old man.
It feels like everything
died.
is always like cancer or pneumonia. Those are the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or suicide.
And that's what took him. Oh yeah, and he didn't have anything like that.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
Yeah.
he was an old
Pneumonia
man, and
and he-
unfortunately he died. Well, you'll be missed. You'll be
I
missed,
think
Arlie.
I think his role in Full Metal Jacket was so memorable that he'll always like people will always go back and watch that movie and recognize him. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People will like never stop referencing his lines in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
how
I don't
many
know.
times
People
have you
don't.
heard "Let me see your war face" this week? Probably.
No, but
What is
like
that?
to be
What
fair,
the fuck is that? What is this, Private Pile?
to be
Yeah.
fair though,
Jelly
like
donut.
people we thought were super popular, you know, in the 20s aren't remembered very well now. But I
Hey,
don't know.
don't talk shit about
If it-
Humphrey Bogart.
If enough time passes,
No,
people
I'm
start.
kidding.
If you're
Yeah,
not
people
like
start to
Alfred
forget.
fucking Hitchcock, then
Yeah.
chances are eventually people will stop remembering you. But
Yeah.
Hugh Laurie. People still making Hugh Laurie references. People still, I think mostly because of Looney Tunes. And like Scooby-Doo and stuff. Hugh Laurie's still...
yeah, but they're not
still-
referencing him.
Not!
They're not referencing him. They're referencing Scooby Doo at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, that's about it for our show. Let's do some closing thoughts.
Yeah.
You want to go first, Dalsson?
No, let me go last.
Okay. So,
should I
Thel,
go
what's
first?
coming up this week? Do we have any
New
video
Hollow
coming
Knight
out?
video. I'm doing Path of Pain.
That should be good.
A new Hollow Knight video.
That should be good for our channel's growth.
Boy, I love Hollow Knight videos. I can't wait to shit on Thel's choice of charms. Dream Shield.
Okay,
again.
all right. Here's the thing.
That was like
Here's the
one
thing.
person and 99%.
No, that's like every
It's
commenter.
like everyone. But here's the thing: when it comes to like the white palace and the Path of Pain, there are two charms you use because this is the Super Meat Boy level, and there are two charms that make this like not only possible but that it feels like cheating. Just use Hive Blood so that you can stand there and let your health recharge after you get hit. And also you Grub Song, so every time you get hit, you get a little bit more soul. So if you're impatient like me and fuck it up a little bit, you'll definitely have a full soul bar, so you'll be able to replenish the 1 health that you just lost by being
I don't
impatient.
know. I think the Quick Slash and Dream Shield are probably better. There's actually an interaction with the charms where you can surf on your Dream Shield for 0.3 seconds, and it lets.
You can speed run this by glitching through the wall.
Yeah.
For 12 hours.
Just pick up speed for 12 hours.
Yeah. Just jump on the scuttlebugs.
All right.
All right.
So what's coming up
Dalsson?
on your streams, Dalsson?
Well, I haven't gotten very far through Nino Kuni. Hopefully the things that are coming up on my streams are streaming. Because I
That didn't happen a lot
have
this
not
week.
been doing that this week because I have been deathly sick. I still am. I've thrown up 3 times during this very podcast.
Is that true?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably Nino Kuni for my single player streams. I intend to stream Radical Heights today or tomorrow. I want to play that with you guys. And then I still haven't. SCP Containment Breach is one that I'm gonna be doing, but I don't know if that's
We need to
gonna be
stop talking
YouTube.
about it because I feel like we're just jinxing it forever. The more we talk
Yeah,
about it, the less it
When I
like
talk
is
about
gonna
it, we'll
happen.
never play it.
Yeah.
We also I want to put some time into Overwatch because they have that new event and I don't want to miss it before it's gone entirely.
Oh,
It's a fun event. Played it with
I
Faction.
kind of like it a little bit better than the previous one.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's like Left 4 Dead, the events, rather than like you have to.
I am getting sick of Overwatch giving timed content.
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
they would just add some, like, especially for not single player, but like PvE stuff. Just put the PvE mode in, like, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just annoying.
I feel
It's
that
not
way,
like
too.
you have to balance
Especially with
around
this
it,
big
like,
ass patch. Like, shit
Yeah.
was like 12 goddamn gigabytes. You just gonna not put that in?
Yeah.
The fuck?
It's silly. It's just a silly. There's no reason.
Yeah.
Like timed like holiday events I get, like Lucio Ball and shit during the soccer tournaments or whatever it is. Like that's fine. I get it. It's an event. But this is like, why take it away from us? You know?
Yeah.
So
Anyway, so the
Um,
last thing I want to say is I want to give a shout out to Flame Shadows who gave us 100-bit cheer during the podcast.
good old biddies.
Um,
Biddies.
during the podcast, if you want to give us cheers, we will shout you out at the end of the podcast. think that's a good
Yeah.
compromise.
Yeah.
Um,
Rather than interrupt the flow of the recording.
make a point to check out our Steam Curator page and our Steam group. If you're watching the VOD of the YouTube video recording of this, it'll be in the description, and I will post links to it into the Twitch chat in just a moment. But other than that, remember to always
stay beautiful.